Hey guys, what's going on? Today I want to talk to you about buying vans. The thing with camper vans is that they're not just a vehicle. You're buying a vehicle and a trailer wrapped into one. And with that comes twice as many inspection points you'll want to look at before buying. So I know for me anyways, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an RV mechanic, and I can imagine a lot of people are also not mechanics, RV mechanics, or both. So my biggest tip for buying any vehicle or RV or travel trailer is, if you don't know what you're looking for, know enough to know that you don't know. What? Yeah, it's a lot. What I mean by that is understand that you can't know it all. I mean, if you do, good for you. That's a lot of stuff. For most of us, we're not going to know what to look for under the hood. We're not going to know what to look for on the camper side. So know enough to know that you don't know. And then the second part of that is find someone who does and bring them with you. My first van, I did none of these things. My circumstances were a little bit different. I did not have the resources, nor the time. And I did the number one thing you're not supposed to do when buying anything secondhand. And I said, yep, that's the one. Haggled them down a bit, bought it. Yeah, I paid for that several times over. May you rest in peace. Oh, 1983 Dodge. The big difference when I bought this van is that I brought a mechanic with me. He even picked me up and we drove out there together because my other van wasn't running very good. I was in kind of a bind, but if he didn't give me the thumbs up, I was not going to buy the new van. I would have sat and kind of freaked out about the fact that I now had no vehicle, but I would have had a place to stay. So that would have sucked, but I would have made that work. I was not going to make the same mistake that I did the first time and buy something that wasn't going to run. So there's a few ways you can go about having a vehicle inspected. You can either bring it to a shop and then pay to have a whatever multi-point inspection done on it, which if you can do that, I strongly recommend. That's your best bet. They'll hold it, they'll keep it all day, they'll do what they got to do. They've got their machines and sensors, and clearly not a mechanic. They'll do a good inspection. The second option you have is bring a mechanic with you. Track down, a backyard mechanic, maybe through referrals, preferably through referrals. I'm not a person that likes to just pick someone out of the phone book or Google search without knowing someone who's at least been there one time. However you have to do it. Go to a shop even and ask one of the mechanics what it would cost for them to come with you to do an inspection on the vehicle, although they'll probably tell you just to bring it to the shop. If any of your friends know a backyard mechanic or somebody that would be willing to come with you, it'll save you on shop fees, but you won't get the same thorough inspection as you would get in a shop. So that's the vehicle side. I was not going to buy this van if it came back with a thumbs down, let's say, and I'm really glad that I brought him. It turns out this vehicle was in like amazing condition, and the guy had all the paperwork to prove it too, but that's not always the case, that they have a paper trail of the last like 5 years of what was done on it and stuff. And like this guy had this guy had an out of province inspection done on it, bringing it from BC to Alberta, upgraded a bunch of stuff and spared no expense in the process. So this van was well taken care of, which I'm very lucky and thankful for, but that might not always be the case. And if you're not a mechanic, you won't know what to look for, what to listen for, that kind of stuff. So do yourself a favor. If you're buying a vehicle, you're spending money, spend money on someone to come and take a look at it. Save yourself the drama in the future, because there sometimes will be drama. But the second part about buying a camper van, especially one of the older converted ones like mine, is that it was converted into a camper after the fact. This thing used to just be a van. It stopped here. There was no anything in the back. I don't know how they sent them off to these companies that did the conversion, but I'm kind of guessing they just said, here's a van shell, you put camper on. And then on the side of mine it says Turtle Top. So the company that did this, and I guess they're still around, it's called Turtle Top. They put on the high top, they put in everything, and then they sell the van. So that's how the old camper vans, in a nutshell, kind of used to get done. But that means that there's a whole new set of systems in the back that are completely unrelated to the engine and completely unrelated to vehicle mechanics. that's where you need a second subject matter expert. In my case, I did a lot of research into trailer living, I think for like 2 years before I bought a trailer. Not that I'm an expert or anything, but for me and my comfort level, I knew enough to know what to listen for, to know what to check, and to understand that, whatever doesn't work, I knew I was ripping a lot of the stuff out anyways. I wasn't as concerned about having someone come and do a proper inspection on the trailer, like the camper side. So I did not bring anyone with me. I inspected things myself. If you're not planning to rip things out like I had from the beginning, you're definitely going to be expecting the camper side and all of the systems to work. And by all the systems, I mean your propane, the heater, the fridge, and the stove, all the lights. My van came with the generator. Does the generator work? The water system, that's another one. A lot of the times when people are selling campers, the tanks are drained, so you can't really test the water. I guess you could get them to hook it up to their house and show you that all the water works, but you might not think of that when you're on site. Even just all the wiring, if there's any exposed wiring, make sure all the fans work. This has an AC unit. If it's 30 or 50 amp, you might not even be able to plug it into their house to check some of the major systems, because the AC is not going to run off the battery. These are just a few things, and this is just a small camper van. You get into bigger RVs, there's more systems. There could be 2 of everything, 2 AC units, 2 sinks, flushable toilet. I guess I had that one too, but I knew I was ripping it out, so I didn't care. You might even have your own little checklist. And then you get in there talking to the person, looking at stuff, and you're really excited because, you're getting ready to buy a van or an RV or something, and then you forget. You forget about your little list. You forget to check. You forget, oh, I'm definitely going to ask them about this. No, you forget. You forget to ask. Definitely go check the stove. No, you forget to check. I checked the stove, forgot to check the heater. Surprise, surprise, the heater had an electrical issue and didn't turn on very well. So I knew there was some electrical problems, and I was okay with that because I was going to be gutting it. But I was expecting to be able to use the propane, so I checked the stove, did not check the heater. It would start to heat up for like 5 minutes and then go cold and then just be blowing cold air. So I made a few inquiries about it, but I was already aware that there were some electrical issues, so I just wrote it off for this year. We're going to be plugged in for this whole year anyways. But lessons learned, because I was hoping to keep that heater and put it back in, and then I just decided it's going to be a new heater. For my situation, that worked out. That was okay. Bit of an inconvenience, a couple nights boondocking it, but no biggie. For someone expecting to be able to use all of these things, definitely going to be an issue if all of a sudden your heater's not working. So my number 1 tip, if you're going to buy a camper van or an RV, and this works for any vehicle, boat, trailer, whatever, is if you don't know, or if you are not comfortable with what to inspect and how to inspect it, bring someone who knows with you. I cannot stress that enough. You do not want to be had. You do not want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars only to turn around and have to spend a couple grand more making all these systems work again, when you could have saved yourself the drama. Or if you still like the vehicle or the RV or the trailer, knock the price down because you're going to have to go and spend that money to get those things fixed anyways. Save yourself the drama, know enough to know that you don't know, and then find someone who does, and either ask them to come with you as a favor or spend the money and pay them to come with you. Whatever you need to do to bring someone who knows what they're doing with you to inspect not just the vehicle side, but the camper side. So sometimes that might mean 2 people. Whatever you have to do to bring someone with you who can do a proper on-site inspection, or take it to a shop and get a real inspection, do it. Save yourself the drama, because if you're not spending the money beforehand, preemptively, you're gonna spend it down the road, I promise you. Save yourself the drama, bring someone with you. Or 2. Camper, vehicle. When you're buying an RV of any size, You're not just buying one, you're buying both. You're buying a trailer and you're buying a vehicle, all wrapped into one. 2 different sets of systems, 2 different sets of subject matter, 2 different experts required. So that's it. It's my number 1 vehicle buying tip. Everything after that would be, lower kilometers for your price range and rust. Definitely want to look for rust underneath. Run through the gears. If you bring someone with you who knows what they're doing, they've got all that covered. So don't forget, when you're buying an RV, you're buying a vehicle, and you're buying a travel trailer, all wrapped into one. But it's 2 different systems. So you need a vehicle mechanic and an RV mechanic. And depending on what you're comfortable doing, you might be able to skip one, but don't skip both. And don't skip the one that you feel most comfortable with. Skip the one you have no idea about. I skipped the camper side. I got the vehicle inspected. I'm okay with that, again, because I was gutting it. That's it. That's my number 1 and only, my only vehicle, RV, trailer, whatever buying tip. I've applied this to my last 2 cars. I bought the trailer at a dealer, so it already had the inspection done. I did not do it with the first van, and I sure paid for that, but I did it with the second one. I strongly recommend it. Spend the extra money, spend the extra time, and if you're taking it to a shop, don't forget there's a mechanic shop and then an RV mechanic shop. 2 shops if you're getting someone else to inspect both. 2. I did not do it with the first van. I paid for it. I did it with the second one. Save yourself the effort. Spend a bit more time, spend a little bit more money, get someone who knows what they're doing to check it out for you. It will save you hours and hours of drama and potentially thousands and thousands of dollars in the future. So, number 1 tip. That's it. Well, that's it. My number 1 vehicle, RV, trailer, boat, whatever buying tip. This is like my number 1 tip for just about everything. If you don't know what it is you're doing, buying whatever, know enough to know that you don't know anything at all, and then find someone who knows more than you. That's it. That's like my life motto, just about. If you don't know, which probably you don't, find someone who knows more than you and ask them. Alright guys, that's it for now. More what not to do coming at you next week. I could have a whole YouTube channel just on how not to do life. How not to do things. There's probably going to be a lot of tips on, not on how to do something, but on how not to do something with first-hand examples and experiences.